Houston Rockets have won their second consecutive NBA championship. They have swept the Orlando Magic.
Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
In 10 playoff wins, this was Houston's 6th road victory. In Billy Paul's words, their mental toughness and dedication to defense had indeed gotten them on a winning track. No one picked this team to get past the champion Lakers. Now they were on the way to the championship themselves.
Malone was once again named MVP, but he could not lead Houston back to the final. And in 1982, he was traded to Philadelphia. Instead of single-handedly carrying a team, he was now asked to be the missing piece of a championship puzzle.
And that is the end of the overtime, the end of the game. The game is over in Houston. The Blazers have defeated the Rockets 113-96 in overtime, and a rare happening, Houston did not score a point in the extra period.
The Rockets 4-3 at home, 1-4 on the road. There is Bill Fitch, the head coach of the Houston Rockets. 551 career wins, just 6 behind Al Adams for 6th place in the list of winningest NBA coaches.
I have a big surprise for all of you. The Houston Rockets select Ralph Sampson, University of Virginia.
He ushers in the dawn of a new era in the NBA. A great all-around athlete, he is actually a guard in a 7'4" body. The sensational rookie from the Houston Rockets, Ralph Sampson.
Playing hard and try to play consistent in this league. And in college, you could make mistakes, but you had to make up for them at the other end by playing real good defense. Here, you can make mistakes in different parts of the game. Down the stretch, you have to be very consistent, be able to put the ball in the basket every time you get it.
Portland calls tails. Here goes the flip. Heads it is. Nice try, Dad. The Houston Rockets, who are represented here by owner Charlie Thomas and his daughter Tracy, select Hakeem Olajuwon of the University of Houston.
Ralph Sampson and Hakeem Olajuwon, we're going to give it a go and try and play together on the same team. How do you envision that?
I think that's going to be a good combination to play with Ralph. He's a very good player, and I like to play with him. I like to play in the paint. They can play double low post.
One of 2 rookies competing today. 7-foot center of the Houston Rockets, number 34, Hakeem Olajuwon. In his 2nd NBA All-Star game in as many years, 7'4" from the Houston Rockets, number 50, Ralph Sampson.
Olajuwon teaming with Sampson.
I'd have to say there's an awful lot of things they look like they've accomplished already. Olajuwon didn't look like he was too inexperienced to me.
Hakeem Olajuwon being congratulated, 24 points and 9 rebounds.
And for the 2nd year in a row, the Jazz have moved into the 2nd round. Brantley continues to be sensational from the line. And this Utah Jazz team coming from behind, trailing by as many as 13 in the 2nd half without Mark Eaton.
To see how fast he catches on. He's really a quick learner.
Considering Hakeem Olajuwon never played the game of basketball until he came to the United States, I think Hakeem is probably the greatest athlete I've ever seen.
Hakeem is already today's best young center, and his true potential may be years away.
I just couldn't believe what has happened between the last 6 years to me. I mean, it was unbelievable. Sometimes it just seems like a dream.
5 years ago, Moses Malone and the Houston Rockets shocked the Los Angeles Lakers in the opening round of the playoffs. They now meet again, and Hakeem Olajuwon is the new Moses in Houston. 2 7-footers out to bring an end to 4 years of Laker domination in the West. Sampson. It goes. It's over. A miraculous shot by Ralph Sampson. Off balance has given the Houston Rockets the Western Conference Championship. This is a rarity in sports. I don't think it's ever happened that a celebration has started before the end of a game. I think that's the first time that starters have celebrated while the game was still on, and of course a great move to avoid the crush of the crowd.
After the season last year, everybody was thinking that we just have to go one more step to win the championship. People are forgetting that we still have to start from the beginning. This is a new team, and we have to build ourselves to that level.
It seems everybody wants to be a part of his dream, and he is very happy to oblige. No, there's not too much he needs. Oh, there's one little thing. Hakeem would like an NBA championship ring.
Mitchell Wiggins and Louis Lloyd of the Houston Rockets have tested positive for the use of cocaine. Accordingly, under the anti-drug agreement between the NBA and its Players Association, Mitchell Wiggins and Louis Lloyd are permanently disqualified from playing in our league.
But just prior to the mid-season classic, Houston's other all-star starter would suffer his third setback of the season.
Sampson hurt either his left knee or his left ankle. Oh, he's in pain now. Look at that.
He's telling the doctor, please, watch the pressure.
But the dream of Hakeem's past was starkly contrasted by the nightmare of Sampson's future. Sampson faced a stiff regimen of exercise to strengthen his damaged knee. As Sampson worked his way back, Houston had to make adjustments.
For the first time since 1981, Houston has clinched a playoff series win here in front of the home crowd. Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon with 27 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 blocked shots.
It's on to Los Angeles for the Seattle Sonics as their Cinderella playoff journey continues into the Western Finals against the Los Angeles Lakers. And it will all start Saturday.
And here is Ralph Sampson. He's healthy this year. His attitude is better.
You know, it's just hard to believe. Just as I commented to start the game, you know, Ralph, there was no emotion on his face. It was just, well, I'm out here. I'm going to run up and down the court.
Olajuwon, Ralph Sampson, the Twin Towers have been dismantled. They used to play against each other all the time in practice. It'll be for real. The Houston Rockets very happy with their end of the deal. The puzzle may now be completed, and this team could go to an NBA championship. Star of the game, it should be as no surprise, Hakeem Olajuwon. Listen to these stats. 30 points, 20 rebounds, and 5 blocked shots. He was a one-man gang. For his outstanding performance, we recognize Hakeem as our Texaco Star of the game.
Houston pulled even behind a 41-point, 26-rebound performance by Hakeem Olajuwon. Dallas Mavericks have won the best-of-5 series, 3-1 over the Houston Rockets with a 107-97 victory here at the Summit.
We've excelled in all those areas. Those are playoff areas there. When you can get the assist and the rebounding and cut the turnovers down, that's playoff basketball, and I hope it continues to third quarter and fourth. Just have to move it up another notch because they're going to come at us.
When you say OT, you mean Otis Thorpe. He has been very good lately.
Scoring average actually went up. Was in the top 10 most of the year in rebounding. Has done everything that the Rockets have wanted him to do. He compliments Hakeem Olajuwon excellently.
It's almost impossible to stop him. Plays with an indomitable spirit, Hakeem. But one thing, he's not perfect. Not that good from the free throw line, only 69%.
He's in the top 10 in 4 categories: scoring, rebounding, steals, and blocked shots.
Hakeem feels he needs an explanation, and he goes one-on-one on referee Steve Jaffe, and a technical has been called on Olajuwon. 2 may have been called because Joe Crawford has kicked him out of the game. Underneath, at the buzzer, it counts, and Seattle wins. And Seattle defeats Houston and goes on to play the Los Angeles Lakers in the second round.
I think all we can do is refer to the long-standing history of Hakeem and the constant renegotiation demands of this franchise since he's been here. He was going to have to do what he had to do, and we were going to have to do what we had to do.
Not long ago, though, you were saying you might want to get out of Houston and go someplace else and play.
That is true.
All of a sudden, it looks like you've started to play the kind of ball we expected all year.
I think we are playing on the level that we would like to. We would like to finish the season very strong.
What a pure athletic play by a super athlete. You've got to have those types of athletes to win in this league, and San Antonio was not using him and gave him up to Houston, and he's been a breath of fresh air for the Rockets.
Made headlines in Houston, of course, when he said he thought he might want to play for somebody else. He didn't know if Houston would ever be a championship team, and Don Chaney said yesterday that Hakeem simply doesn't understand the process, that he has to be patient, and that they're trying to build a championship team.
In the battle for that 8th and final playoff spot, Hakeem Olajuwon with a quadruple double tonight, the first of his career and only the 3rd player in NBA history to get the quadruple double.
For the past 6 years, the hopes and dreams of the Houston Rockets have centered around Hakeem Olajuwon. So welcome to Magic's Kingdom, a place where dreams can come true or turn into nightmares for opposing players.
In the early going, we used to win games by playing hard, playing smart, and you fall into some games. We didn't really have an understanding of why we were winning. When we're aggressive on the offensive end, because defensively we play well, and then I think our offense is now catching up with our defense. We put in that new play that Carolina played.
Very bad position, good stats, but the team lost. The most important is win, and that's what I wanted to do. I really don't want to play a big role on the team. I like to just compliment. Let the guys do what they have been doing, and I would just compliment.
What's happening to Hakeem Olajuwon?
He really got hurt. Well, the Houston Rockets have brought a stretcher out for Hakeem Olajuwon. You know what you fear now, John, is perhaps a neck injury of some kind.
When I was out, everybody was saying the team was going to go down because we have a lot of individual talent and great players. And they came together as a team. The effort was there and they did a fantastic job. And I was very anxious to get back just to join the team to take to another level.
After a while, just playing for the season, knowing that we can win a championship.
He went through some tough times. The downfall of the Rockets after the '87 season, the team started to go south. He had to take the pressures of holding the franchise up almost by himself.
He got this image of somebody who was never going to be able to be pleased by his teammates. In Houston, people who saw him play every night knew that this was a guy who was working his tail off and was doing everything he could to win.
We started to devise a system that we're going to have Hakeem right in the heart of it. And 90% of the things that we do are going to go through him. And he was the kind of player that could handle that kind of a load.
The Houston Rockets suspended Olajuwon for failing to play last Saturday against the Sacramento Kings. Olajuwon claimed that his hamstring was hurt, but the team said he was merely trying to renegotiate his contract.
What he would like most is to finish this season strongly with the Rockets, get them into the playoffs, make a good showing, hopefully in the offseason get a trade that would benefit both he and the Rockets. So I know it's a tough situation for both the Rockets and Hakeem right now.
I mean, they didn't even give me benefit down, without the proof. The damage has been done. I mean, they question my integrity. Nationwide, there's a lot of cheap shots talking about me. They don't even know me personally. I think we're best for everybody to pass after the season.
With the 11th pick in the 1992 NBA draft, the Houston Rockets select Robert Horry from University of Alabama.
Time for the curveball. Oh, boy. Robert Horry.
This was the first time Charlie and I get the opportunity to open the line of communication to settle our differences. That made up for everything to say, well, let's look forward. Forget about what you hear or what happened. Okay, let's move forward.
Hakeem Olajuwon. Now, he's not very happy in Houston, wanted to be traded, had a lot of problems with management, but that has not affected his performance. Right now, he's leading the Houston Rockets right into the thick of the Midwest Division race.
He became a better passer, and he became a better student of the game. And by doing so, he made everybody around him, Otis Thorpe, Kenny Smith, Vernon Maxwell, all of these players became better players because Hakeem became a better player.
So I always said the highest standard for myself, not for anybody, for myself. So I have something to prove to myself that I can always improve and get better. So my stats speak for itself. So I need something more on a winning championship.
Hoping to return to the championship level, Hakeem is playing with a renewed fervor. Everyone has taken notice. So Hakeem will dream on as he continues his quest to reach his lofty aspirations.
We won the game, but I'm not really happy the way we won the game. We don't want the game to be this close, especially in the first round. I think we have to regroup ourselves and be focused mentally for tough games.
Hakeem, congratulations on the Defensive Player of the Year award. What does that mean to you that you get the award for playing defense?
That's a very big honor. Defense is the big part of the game, and I take pride in defense, so it's a very big honor for me.
In a game that was dominated by the home team by big margins, it took overtime, and Seattle sees a desperation final shot by Olajuwon, who couldn't do everything, couldn't answer the miracle that was needed.
With the 24th pick in the 1993 NBA draft, the Houston Rockets select Sam Cassell from Florida State University.
Sam Cassell, 6'3", a good combo guard.
This is for the fans of Houston, the fans of the Rockets all over the world. They deserve it and they got it. And the players have been unbelievable and the coaches have been just as good. It's really fantastic for the city of Houston.
But Ellie gives this team an awful lot that doesn't show up in the numbers.
For one thing, he's the second leading scorer for the Houston Rockets in fourth quarter scoring. Now, I'll admit it's not a lot of points. It's only about 4.
A team that had one of the best comebacks, I thought, with all the problems they'd had the year before with Olajuwon, maybe not signing, etc. Their young coach, Rudy Tomjanovich, did a heck of a job, Hubie.
Coach of the year losing out by only 1 vote. Olajuwon had a sensational season.
The winning, we show a lot of character by stepping up our game. Just play within my team, with my game.
I wonder if the streak isn't doing something extra special to keep this team ready every night.
Well, now everybody's trying to break our streak, so we have to be prepared.
Hakeem Olajuwon will be at the line. Crowd chanting MVP. Probably wondering why we would say he would be the MVP. Well, how about this? Second in blocks, third in points, 4th rebounds, 10th field goal percentage. And he also did the laundry, I understand, after most games.
I'm just so happy we won this game. Game 7 is such a dangerous game that you can't really play your game. But I'm so glad we pulled this one over. I'm just so happy we won. It was a team effort, and we'd like to take it all the way.
You've led your team to its best season ever. You're a certain Hall of Famer, and you do it with an elegance and a grace that's spectacular. Congratulations on being the 1994 NBA Most Valuable Player.
Hornacek, but the Jazz has conceded defeat. It is the Rockets' evening as they advance to the final.
4 games to 1. Houston wins the West. The final tonight, 94-83.
Standing ovation for the New York Knicks. The Knicks 91, the Rockets 84, as they head back to Houston for Game 6 on Sunday. And Jake O'Donnell indicating the game is over, and it will go to a 7th and decisive game. And John Starks tried to win it for the New York Knicks, but the Rockets win it 86-84. Houston Rockets are the 1993-94 NBA champions. Hakeem Olajuwon will wear an NBA championship ring for the very first time.
The Houston Rockets and their fans were celebrating a Game 7 victory in the Summit. Houston's win over New York delivered a world championship to this city for the first time. Now it's time to start all over. Houston's bid for a repeat title begins tonight.
A lot of anxiety, a lot of nervous energy. I didn't know what was going to happen, so my mind was in a million different places at once. And when I finally hit the floor, I was so excited, I really didn't know what to do. Rudy T was calling plays, and I just couldn't think.
Clyde, did you feel a bit rejected because some of the guys were vocal and publicly upset?
There were a couple of guys that were undecided about the trade and had questions about it.
The Rockets, even though they are going to finish out of the home court advantage in the playoffs, will be sitting at that 6th spot. Olajuwon, Vernon Maxwell should be back by then, and hopefully from a Houston standpoint, they will be at full strength.
Mad as hell sitting over here. You know what I mean? I felt disrespected. I mean, my feelings were hurt, man. I was telling them, I'm done. I'm leaving tonight. I just told them I quit. I hated that I did it that way.
And Stockton casts off at the buzzer. It's short, and the defending champions survive a Game 5. Houston 95, Utah 91. We'll be back with more from the Delta Center.
After grabbing 2 wins in Phoenix, the Suns would add another in Houston, taking a 3-1 series lead, leaving the Rockets in a seemingly inescapable hole. Only 4 teams in playoff history had overcome a 3-1 series lead.
And the Houston Rockets are going back to the Western Conference Final. For the 2nd straight year, the Rockets have knocked off the Phoenix Suns, coming from behind 3 games to 1 to eliminate the Suns.
This has been great. The total team effort, we stuck together. It wasn't pretty, but it was a win.
Is this more gratifying than last year, Hakeem? Nobody expected you to be back in the final.
Well, he's never as good as the first time, but it is beautiful.
The Houston Rockets have won their 2nd consecutive NBA championship. They have swept the Orlando Magic.
Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
The greatest basketball player on the planet. He dominated the regular season MVP in the Western Conference Finals. He's the cornerstone of the Rockets, 2-time Finals MVP. Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon.
He missed the preseason with injuries to his back and his elbow. The first month was a little bit slow for Hakeem by his all-universe standards, but he has resumed his customary leader's role among statistical categories for centers.
Flings it into Hakeem. He got Olajuwon wins the game. Olajuwon wins the game. Oh, a miracle shot as Robert Horry floated it into Hakeem Olajuwon.
Lakers, the season is over. Magic Johnson, Rudy Tomjanovich, the coach. The Rockets win the game. The final score in a series that ends up 3-1 in favor of Houston.
It's over, as we expected.
We'll remind you that we'll bring you interviews from this game at halftime of the Bulls in the Knicks. The final 114-107. The Sonics sweep the Rockets in overtime.
Boy, who's that guy? 10-year NBA veteran Kenny Smith, whose NBA journey has included 3 appearances in the slam dunk competition and 2 championship rings as a member of the Houston Rockets of 94 and 95.
I can feel a gradual decline in my abilities. Every year it gets a little worse, and then one year it's going to be really bad. Basketball doesn't dictate whether you're a winner in life. That's the thing. People always say my life is not complete unless I win a championship. I don't think that.
Carroll Dawson was part of Houston's back-to-back titles in the 1990s. The Texas native joined the Rockets as an assistant coach in 1980, and it was Dawson who recommended that Rudy Tomjanovich take over as head coach.
As usual, Olajuwon's numbers are high. 7th NBA leading scorer right now. The rebounding would be higher hadn't it been for the presence of Charles Barkley this year, who's number 3 rebounder in the NBA. Olajuwon's getting a bit of a rest in the rebounding department.
As long as you win, this is the greatest life in the world. We are so lucky and blessed. It's only not fun when you don't win. So long, we just have to keep moving forward. We got a long-range goal, long way from that, but you got to keep going forward, and that's what we're doing so far this year.
Every rebound, he's getting every rebound. That was great.
You looked as though you were exhausted there, particularly at the end of the third quarter and the fourth quarter. How much energy do you have left at the end of this game?
I tell you what, this was the war. This was a championship series.
The Utah Jazz says, yes, we are moving on with a 4-2 victory over the Houston Rockets. Rudy Tomjanovich says, there goes the season.
Athletic careers are measured in several ways. Among these are age, ability. Today's veterans were yesterday's rising stars. Knowing the anguish of defeat, veterans can attest to these truths.
When you have 3 of the greatest players in the history of the NBA on your team, good things are bound to happen. Clyde not having a good day. Hakeem, very solid considering his recovery program. And Barkley, always dominant in the biggest of the games.
You really struggled offensively, shooting the ball poorly and a lot of unnecessary turnovers.
Those things are going to come around that we've got to keep our poise, but defense has kept us in this game, and we got to continue to double aggressively. We've had some open shots. We got to stick with them and just shoot with confidence.
Charles, when this season is over, is going to have surgery on a left groin hernia, called a sports hernia. Incredibly painful to play with. Charles is fouled out of the game, 8 points, and a special well-guarded escort.
All of the fans standing here acknowledging all of your play over the years, and I'm sure that now it's sunk in, you played your final game.
It was great. I think tonight's game, we just didn't have it. We had some chances, even though we weren't playing well, but just couldn't pull it out.
Pick number 41 belonged to the Houston Rockets, and while we were away, they selected Cuttino Mobley, a 2-guard from Rhode Island, 6'4", 190.
Youth brought emotion and also a deadly shot to this team.
It's always personal when I go against my old team. We had a lot of bad blood. I still love that organization, but I still didn't like the way I left it. But every time I play them, it's always personal.
It's a situation that I waited for throughout my career. I know I was obligated to that contract, and I felt obligated to finish it out and to give my best and to show people that it's not about playing for the money all the time, but it's the love that you have for the game.
The Houston Rockets, they won it in back-to-back years in the middle of the decade and may now be poised to make another run at it. When Scottie Pippen signed on for $67 million over 5 years, a Hall of Fame front line took shape. Pippen, Charles Barkley, Hakeem Olajuwon.
There was a time when Michael was off playing baseball when Olajuwon was probably the best player in the NBA. The blocks are about half of what they once were. At one time, he was blocking more than 4 a game. And the scoring has gone from 27-28 a game to around 16.
Charles actually made your transition easy?
Having Charles really campaign to get me here really, showed me that he wants to win a championship. I'm always one of those players that when June comes, I want to be playing.
That's beautiful.
Charles is deserving of a championship.
This one is over in 4. The Lakers knock the Rockets off. Charles Barkley played heroically in defeat throughout the series.
Charles is walking off. You know he's disappointed. He's been looking for that championship ring. It will not happen again this year.
With the second pick in the 1999 NBA draft, the Vancouver Grizzlies select Steve Francis from the University of Maryland.
I made a great sacrifice to get Scotty in Houston.
He doesn't show me the desire to want to win.
For him to want to bolt on me after 1 year, I was very disappointed.
Charles never will win a championship because he doesn't show any dedication.
So are you happy to be in Portland?
I'm very happy. This is a very young and talented team. I'm looking forward to, joining a team that's a contender. I think this team has the talent, has the ability of getting to the finals and winning.
But the kind of group of guys that we have now, I think we're in a better position. And Scotty would be much happier just being his wishes was granted. He wanted to be traded. Because you really don't want to force a player to play in a team that he doesn't want to play. And that's the bottom line.
But with 4:09 remaining in the first quarter, Sir Charles ruptured the quadriceps tendon in his left knee. The injury will take at least 6 months to rehab, which means that for all intents and purposes, Barkley has played his last game in the NBA.
Barkley was forced into early retirement. This was to be his last year. Injury sent him into retirement prematurely. An injury-racked and aging Hakeem Olajuwon is a shell of his former self. So the team moves from an inside type to a perimeter game with Francis running the attack.
This team, the last couple of years, people were saying, whose team is it? Charles Barkley's and Hakeem Olajuwon. I talked to Steve before the game. He said, this is my team. I will lead this team, and I'm very comfortable doing that. I don't do it by talking. I do it by the way I've been playing on the court.
Rudy Tomjanovich calls this coming offseason one of the biggest ever for the Rockets franchise. Houston is out of the playoff mix. Brought the distinct possibility that after 17 seasons in Houston, Hakeem Olajuwon was playing his last game as a Rocket.
Hi, one more time to Hakeem Olajuwon, the greatest Rocket, the greatest of all time in terms, that's what he did in his Houston Rocket career, 17 seasons. There isn't a thing this man hasn't accomplished. He's won 2 NBA championships. He's done it all.